What's up everybody, welcome back for another video. Today we're going to be checking out 4 external monitors for camera and smartphone shooters. Got to be able to see what you're doing, right? Now I use all of these monitors fairly consistently, almost every single day. Now I did purchase them all with my own money as well. This isn't a sponsored video or anything like that, although I will try to remember to put links in the description obviously, but we're just doing it for the love of the game, right? Want to find out which monitor is best for your use case scenario before you go, dropping a pretty penny on it. That being said, these are actually 4 different types of monitors. So we're not going to be comparing like features or competing brands or price ranges or anything like that, even though the price range is like from several $100s down to, I think one was only 25 bucks. I wouldn't say there's necessarily, an objective best or worst on this list, just most appropriate. Okay, I think that's enough jibber jabber, so like and subscribe if you dig this kind of content, and let's get this show on the road. Okay, so before we get started, I want to go over like how I'm putting, like what's the order I'm putting these in, because like I said, there's no objective best or worst. I figure I'll just go in order of like novelty is how I kind of think of it, just how ingenuitive or ingenious I think each monitor is. Okay, so first on our list is just a regular ass camera monitor. You'll find these on anything from vlogging cameras to cinema cameras. Now this one in particular is from Portkeys, called the PT52. It's about 100 bucks, but they can be, multiple thousands of dollars depending on how much you want to spend and what you're looking for in a monitor. Now as far as cons in general for like a camera external monitor like this, I can't really think of any, right? Because they're going to do just about anything you need them to do. But as far as the PT52 in particular, it is 1080p. So if you need 4K, it doesn't have that. That's plenty for me, but it is 1080p. It does not have internal recording, but it does have HDMI out, so you could use that. And then lastly, it is touchscreen, but it doesn't have control of the camera. You're just able to control the monitor. Now, as far as pros, it's backlit, so you can see it in the sun, and it's got all the exposure tools, false colors, focus peaking, everything you need, and which is, the main purpose of an external camera, not just for the framing and stuff, but we need the bigger screen to make sure we're exposed properly and focused properly. Okay, I had to put that first monitor back. Now, our second monitor we're going to check out today is one specifically for smartphones, which I think I've done a video on these before, but these things are great. Now, when I got this a few months ago, it was the only one out there. It's the only manufacturer. They're called New Moa, and but now there's a bunch of, I think they have a couple models, and there's a bunch of different manufacturers that make these. Now, mine was only 50 bucks, and I think that's about on average what they cost, but there are a few other brands, depending on what features you want and stuff, that cost, I think up to 80 maybe is the most they cost. Now, as far as cons, one really big red flag is all of these work by connecting via Wi-Fi. I don't think I can think of any other devices where you connect your camera or your phone or whatever via a Wi-Fi and like use this as a Wi-Fi hub. It just makes me kind of reluctant to use, because what information could be, being relayed. It just makes the conspiracy theorists inside me, kind of go a little bit crazy. But the main pro with these things is that it allows you to use the rear camera on your smartphone. This, while it's smaller than the actual phone screen, it does the job that it's made to do, which is really just basically framing, right? It's not going to have any control of the phone, and it's not going to have any like exposure tools or anything like that, but it does, but your phone, my Blackmagic camera app, does. So you can have your histogram and stuff right in the corner, but it's really simple to work around, especially with a smartphone. And I really like this mount. None of them have this type of mount anymore, but I really like it because you can put a cold shoe on there and put a battery pack, maybe put this on the side handle on your phone. Oh, and the last con is it's wireless, right? So I can have this here sitting on my desk, I don't have to have it up mounted to the camera or to the phone that I'm using it with. If it's far away, you still have a hard time. What is it? Did I get the ISO right? Did I get, you know what I mean? But with this, I can just have it in my pocket and check my framing and everything without having to have like a wireless attachment or anything like that. So I don't know why I forgot to, I should have mentioned that first. Okay, the third monitor on, I just realized we're going down in price, but this is actually the third most ingenious monitor of the bunch, and it's a freaking mirror. This is pure genius, and I don't know if you can use it for a camera. I don't know if they make them for cameras or anything. it's really simple idea. You've got this cold shoe, and then you have a little couple right angle hinges. Then you have this approximately 9 by 16-ish dimension mirror. Now, it's only like 20 bucks, so compared to all the other monitors, it's definitely the least expensive, but you get a form factor that's really super handy. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some pretty glaring cons. You do got to work with it a little bit. One, it's kind of finicky to use. Now, fortunately, it does stay put, but you're never really, when you get it, you kind of get the impression that it's going to be straight on, right? You think you're going to be looking straight at like a phone shaped, right, reflection, but you're not. It's always going to be something like that, or even smaller, right? A really thin angled, right? It's going to be something like this that you're going to be trying to frame with. So it's not something you're even really going to be able to match focus with and be like, am I in focus? Is everything? It's really honestly just for framing. The biggest pro in my eyes is it doesn't need a battery. So if you're in a scenario where your monitor's gonna run out, a battery's gonna die on you, or it's gonna overheat and die on you, if you're especially out in here in Phoenix, if it's the middle of summer and I'm shooting with my smartphone, Lord knows it's already about to die. And if I try and plug in another monitor and a USB hub and all this other stuff on it, it's not gonna happen. So really cool. Link in description, like I said, only like 20, 25 bucks, something like that. Okay, so the last monitor we're checking out, I have to grab off of our A-cam, and it's the iPhone 14. It's my old iPhone, and I had no idea you could do this. Totally blows my mind. Check it out. Isn't that badass? That's pretty sick. By any definition, it's way more advanced than any other monitor out there. It's 4K. It's wireless, the battery goes on forever, right? And granted, it would cost about as much as the most expensive monitors, right? But it's trash, It's my old phone, right? So my current phone is actually our B cam right now. Hey there, what's up everybody? And in fact, let's wave to our B cam. Hey everybody. It's so cool that I can do that. And what's funny? The regular monitor is the only one now that's actually tied down to the camera. The iPhone, I can take this across the room, and the Chinese spy monitor, I can take that anywhere around the room. I think up to like 50 meters, I wanna say, at least 50 feet. Now, honestly, as far as like cons for the iPhone, there's no cons. I can't think of a single con because you can use an iPad if you want to have like a 13-inch monitor for, a director's monitor, maybe have it for your client or whatever, which is kind of what I use my iPad for when it's not a C cam. Which actually reminds me, can you guys do this with other cameras? I only have shot Sony and iPhone, so I don't personally know. I would imagine you could. But anyway, I'm using the older Sony app. So I still actually have a bunch of controls. Check this out. So I can record, I can do frame rate, ISO, touch focus, everything really that you need. As far as pros, I think we've only talked about pros so far. There are only pros. This is absolutely my favorite, the coolest, most ingenious camera monitor I think that there is. Like, what else is there? A hologram, right? We don't have those yet, but short of that, freaking iPhone is my absolute favorite monitor. The biggest pro is it has allowed me to use the Portkeys monitor with my smartphone. When I found out I could do this, I was able to bump them down the line, and now I don't really use the new MOA one except in certain situations where I'm not all rigged out. And right now they're kind of a little over-engineered, right? So once I get next camera like FX3 or something, I think it'll kind of even out and I'll be more equipped, which, honestly, the best advice I could give that I have learned is if you want to learn how to shoot video and content creation, the last thing you need is a camera. Not like you don't need a camera, it's just literally the last thing, right? Like first I would recommend buying microphones and lights and use your phone. They say the best camera, let's actually put this back. They say the best camera for any situation or any shooter is one that you can use, right? And a lot of times, I used to think that means, well, if I don't know how to use an RE Alexa, don't rent one. But it also means if you have one, you don't need to buy one a lot of times. That's absolutely true. These cameras, yeah, they're small sensor cameras, so it's kind of like a DJI Osmo or something like that. You can't get great depth of field, but the cameras on the Pro Max, the iPhones, and a lot of these Androids is great. So all you really need is a light because the microphones are really great too nowadays. But then next I would get a microphone, and you know, I built up an entire studio and only got this camera less than a year ago. Anyway, that's gonna wrap it up for now. If you dig making videos, if you dig watching videos about making videos, then I dare say you have found your clan. It was great to see you. It's always good to have you, and we'll catch you next time right here at the Diamond Mine. Peace.